Blog Talk Radio.
Hello, good afternoon. Wow, good afternoon. Usually you all get the Night Talks with Sasha, the deep, sultry, sexy voice. But since this is the afternoon, we're going to bring it up an octave. How about that? Okay, great. So, I guess you're wondering, what are we doing? What is this crazy woman doing in the afternoon on a Sunday? Well, the seasons are getting ready to change. It was summer, now we're rolling into fall. And when fall comes, of course, the days are getting shorter, less sunlight. Ooh. But also, is one of my passions comes when the fall comes, because I love to read. Usually I read all through the year, but the fall is the time of the year that I really love to read. I love to get when it's cold, on a really cold, rainy afternoon, to cuddle up with a nice piece of cover. Doesn't matter what it is, whatever it is. It could be a throw, a blanket. Sometimes, for me, it's a house coat. I'll just be honest with you. It's one of my fluffy house coats. But I like to cuddle up with a book and a cup of tea. And that's where Sasha's book corner comes from, because a cup of tea and a book intersects and they meet right there in the middle. And it's a lovely experience for me. Since we're not still kind of warm outside, I have my tea today, but it's not warm tea. So if you want to, you can. But I today have a bottle of Lipton tea. It is strawberry. It's not strawberry, I'm sorry. It's watermelon and green tea. Yeah, it's really good. I did try one that was mango pineapple citrus tea. It was not good. And if you remember, these are the Lipton tea in the bottles, the peach tea in the bottles. And so you can get the diet, whatever, but they have different flavors. I was perusing Walmart and came across these, and I thought, I'm going to give that a try. Watermelon and green tea. So definitely give it a try. It's not too sweet. You taste a hint of the watermelon, but you also get a hint more of the green tea flavor. So if you're not a green tea lover, then this may not be for you. But today, with our tea and our book, today we're going to be talking to Dr. Tomecca Williams. Dr. Williams wrote a workbook. It's an interactive workbook. It's one of those kind of workbooks where you can write in it. I love these kind of workbooks. You can write in it, tear a page or two out of it if you need to. It's your book, but that's the kind of ebook that it comes in a print version and it comes in the ebook as well. But we're going to be having a conversation with her about her book, what set her to writing that book, and where her writing is going to take her. So join me in this conversation. All right. And I have other announcements to make, but we'll get to that a little later on in the program. All right, I think I have her here. Tomecca, is that you?
It's me. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I am good. It's storming here today, so
Oh,
it gave me something to do
no.
while we prepare for the rain.
Oh, wow. Well, we had that up here because did I tell you where I was? Compared to people when I tell them in Atlanta where I live, they're like, "Oh my God, you're really up there." It's just 72 miles, y'all. It's not that far, but I'm in Northwest Georgia, and so
And I'm in the
no
south,
storms here
close
today.
to Florida.
No, I'm north, and you're close to Florida. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yes, you are. Okay. Well, I hope y'all don't get too much storming that way. They didn't make me look out the window, see what's going on, because I haven't looked out the window. But anyway, tell us a little bit about yourself. I know that you are a professor, and you also used to work in finance, right?
I'm a finance girly.
Okay. Money girl. Yes, I like that. I need help. I really do. I need help. I'm a shopaholic. I am. I'm a self-admitting shopper, and yeah, we'll get into that off air. It's a mess. But tell us a little bit about who Tomecca is, Dr. Tomecca.
To get the stuffy stuff out of the way, I am an educator.
Yeah.
I have been a professor for 10 years, and I teach organizational leadership, HR, general business, entrepreneurship in the School of Business. I am an author. Most of my work is more academic at this point than to support my personal brand, but as you stated, I just released my workbook. And I am a holistic 3 years working in finance of some capacity. I started my first 10 years in banking in the loan department on both the consumer and commercial side. And then I transitioned into being a financial counselor for a nonprofit. And so that's where most of my work has been since. And from a personal side, I am a mom. I have a 22-year-old son.
Okay.
And anybody that has a child that age knows they can be a little work, but I have fun with them. I only have one child, and it's been just the two of us.
Yeah, okay. Well, I can relate to just the two of you because I'm an only child as well. I was an only child of an only child. So I can definitely relate to it just being the two of us. It was always just me and my mom. Okay, so you are a holistic wealth coach. I know we talked about that, and you were saying that you were trying to live a holistic life, but you wanted it to be more than just health, which was important to you as well since getting older, but you felt that wealth was also important. Give us a little bit more info about the holistic wealth. What does that entail? What does that necessarily mean for you?
During my time as a financial counselor, we focused more on budgeting, saving, debt management, investing, and those topics. But we didn't spend any time talking about life and how it affects those matters, because financially, money touches every area of our lives. So just like we talk about budgeting, our careers have a direct impact on how much money we bring in. So we still need to have those conversations about negotiating our salaries. Are you career? Are you looking to move up in the organization that you're in? What does that look like for you? Or relationships and money. I'm 44, still in the dating phase. How do you have those conversations about money during the dating phase? When you're married, how do you have those conversations, and how are you going to manage your money within your marriage? Those topics are just as important, but there was just a gap in having those conversations, and especially having those conversations from the perspective of Black women.
Exactly.
So that's where I wanted to come in.
Okay. So with your workbook, I know it touched on money and negotiating your salary and things like that. But does I know you said you have other books in academia, do they touch on that as well, or how does that work?
Dry is topics that are related to the subject matter of the book, so I don't really have any outside control over that. It's basically by the school. But in my personal life and how I teach and do workshops outside of that space, yes, it is a topic. I actually like to discuss that first because I like for people to decide what they want their lives to look like. So when you're setting your goals, whether they are personal goals, professional goals, or financial goals, you're aligning them with what you say you want. You're just not out here randomly saying, okay, I want to save $1,000. What do you want to save it for? What purpose does that $1,000 have for you? So vision planning.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Right. Vision planning was a very big part of my work and how I teach. I am a firm believer that we can all live our life by design, but we have to figure out what that looks like for us as individuals.
So, excuse me, and I didn't mean to cut you off while you were talking, I'm sorry. Like you said, when you're saving and you put something to it, a purpose to it, it makes it more, would you say, attainable or more personal when you attain a purpose to it?
Sort of gives you a why. It attaches something emotional to it, and it gives you something to work towards that means something to you. We discuss emergency funds all the time.
Oh, yeah.
My life is different than someone else's. I have a son. My son used to live in Atlanta. So I had to take into consideration when I was mapping out what that looked like for me. Okay, I have a son that's 3 hours away from me. Yes, I have family members that can get to him quickly, but I need to get there. You know, that's my baby still.
Yeah.
So you take those things into consideration as well. I have friends who have children. We live in Georgia. They have children in California, Arizona. What would happen if your child called you in the middle of the night and say, I need X, Y, and Z? Would you be able to take care of that? Would you be able to get there? How much money is that going to take? So when I save money and put money aside, I look at those factors.
Yeah.
To see how much money would make practical sense.
Based on the income that you bring in per whatever month in the life that you live. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. I'm writing that down because I need to do that. I definitely need to.
Well, you started doing the book.
Oh, I got out. Yeah, I did. I really did. And woo, that first part where we had to write, you had me write my stuff down, and then I had to decide if I was gonna throw it away or burn it. I couldn't keep it. I was like, you had me stressed.
But you felt
I
good.
am that person.
You felt better though, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I really did. Because go ahead.
You go ahead.
Oh, I did feel better because honestly, I hadn't done that in a long time. Because I'm 46 now, and I think the last time that I really did that, I had to be, I want to say in my early 30s that I wrote stuff down like that. Like, I mean, real deep. Because she had you, like, for y'all listening, she had where you had to go in and you had to make sure I'm saying this right, that you had to write down your personal goals and what you wanted for every aspect. Now, I added a little extra. Some of the stuff in there, it's not that it didn't fit me. I did it, but I added an extra little because I have some health issues going on. And so with that, I added a little like longevity terms like, okay, I want to live till I'm 55. I want to surpass the time that because my mother died at 52. I want to get to 52 and surpass my mother. That was something that I added in there because I have cancer. And though I'm doing well now, I don't know. You know, it's kind of that's kind of how it is. And so I added that in there for myself. Something else I added was plans of, and I know this is macabre and people are going to be like, because every time I say it, people say this, but how I want my last days to be if I can't speak for myself, if I get too sick that I can't speak for me and what I want my funeral to be. I put that in there. Because it's important in counseling for cancer, because I'm in counseling for my cancer. It's important we talk about how you how you want your last days and what you want your funeral and those things to be. Stop saying that you're looking to die anytime soon, but when you write it down and you put it in a safe space and you put it on paper for people to know, and, you know, hey, you can find it in my desk, so and so and so and so, you can forget it. And you can go on about the business of living because you have wrote down what you want and you can leave it alone. And that's kind of instead of the leaving it alone part, because you keep going into detail about how to map it out, which I really like because I don't do that. I just write it down and that's it sometimes. I just write my goals down and that's it. I don't come back and I don't. No. And it's that new year thing, new year, new me thing. I'll write down some stuff that I want to do, and I'll put it on a piece of paper. I'll put it in one of my notebooks that I write everything else down, and then I'm like, okay. And sometimes I'll go back to it a couple of months later and look at it and like, did I accomplish anything? Oh, I kind of did that, check it off a little bit, you know, but I never, like you said, I never go through the follow through. So this time it was different. I really tried to do it. It got kind of hard in there a little bit. I'm gonna be honest with you because thinking about it and thinking about the things that I really want to do, it kind of made me a little sad because now a lot of the things that I'm thinking about doing, I'm having to do them on my own. Where, when you and I talked off air, that my husband just died. And so a lot of stuff we had plans and things together. So now me writing out my goals alone just makes me miss him a little bit more and makes it real, that, oh, wow, Michael is really gone. And the business of me getting on and living has to be done, and I have to do it by myself. That makes sense?
Yeah, I get it. You remember I shared with you the reason why I went ahead and did the workbook and put it out there was because in January my uncle passed away. Yeah. And while I was getting dressed for his funeral, I got the call that my ex-husband had been killed in a car accident. And I'm like, who gets dressed for a funeral only to find out somebody else died?
I know, right?
And so I sat through my uncle's funeral. It was. I sat through my uncle's funeral so that my family wouldn't be worried. Had to get on the road to drive 3 hours to tell my son that his father had passed away. And I'd spoken with both of them less than 30 days before that. And my ex-husband was telling me about how he wanted to expand his business. And my uncle was telling me about some of the things that he wanted to do. And then all of a sudden they were gone.
Yep.
And I realized that I couldn't keep being an I'll start Monday because I was infamous for saying that. Oh, I'll just start on it Monday. I don't know when my last Monday is going to be. Like, I need to do as much as I can today, regardless of what that looks like. We're not going to wake up and have $1 million and be able to do everything all at once. But if there's a restaurant that I've always been wanting to go to, I can take myself out to eat. I can just go.
Exactly.
Like, why wait on certain things? Like, I had put this used to be a workshop I wrote in, 2016, and I had put it off for a long time because when I do workshops, in certain spaces, I have to be kind of stuffy, cut and dry. And so I wanted my cut and dry version, and then I wanted our version. And I put it off. And once my uncle passed away, I was like, I can't keep doing this because he kept telling me, you need to go ahead and do it. You need to go ahead and do it. And after I had that conversation with him, he was gone 2 weeks later.
Wow. Yeah. Life is so sometimes. It makes you, That was the reason why my birthday was August the 16th. And it was a restaurant in Atlanta that I had told my husband that I wanted to go to. And he looked it up. I love my husband, but he was cheap as hell sometimes. And he was like, we ain't going there. That costs too much. And I was like, but we're going for the experience. I always said that to him. We're going for the experience. And so when my 45th birthday, I had just finished chemo. And I was glad to be alive. I really was. I was just glad to be alive. But this year, my 46th birthday, I was more than alive. I thriving, and I still am. And I wanted to celebrate, and I had all of this stuff planned. Oh my God. It was going to be a 3-day weekend affair for me. And one of the things that I wanted to do was go to Fogo de Chao, and that's a restaurant in Atlanta. And I was like, I'm going to have the Fogo de Chao experience where they come around and they just serve you meat off of spears and knives and stuff. And that's what I did. And my friends and I, wasn't many of us, but we had such a wonderful time. You know, we enjoyed ourselves. We talked, we laughed, we ate, we looked and like this, no, you taste that. And it was such a wonderful experience. And that's what I want. You know, that's what I'm looking for now. And I hate the fact that I had to get cancer to do that, to take basically those shackles off of myself to live my life how I want to and do the things that I want to do. And now it's like, okay, you don't have a whole lot of time. Now I get it. And it's like, okay, let's go. Come on. Like, now I got a nose pierce and I got my septum pierced. Oh, I've just been kicking it up. I'm looking to go get a tattoo. I'm still kind of on the fence on that one because I don't like pain. But I'm looking to get a tattoo. You know, so I get it. You're right. You can't keep putting Monday off. And you can't keep putting things off because time is precious. It's very precious. And it will keep going with or without you. And I don't want to miss anything. So yeah, I did the workbook. It was hard though. Some of it was difficult and for me. Because I know for some, now my friend was on here, she's a planner, and this was right up her alley. She would be like, I've been telling you to do this. You are a planner. I've been telling you to write this stuff down. She's right. She has been. And that's what I did, and that's what I do to her. But sometimes it's an emotional attachment. Like you have to really examine your life. And I love the way that you did the workbook because it was like I was talking to you, you know, because the first time that we talked, we had a great conversation. And yeah, I can feel you in it. You know what I mean? So let's talk about that, how you wrote. I know you said you wrote this for us. So, and the pictures you used are beautiful. I love the cover.
Thank you.
Let's talk about your voice in your workbook. How did you put your voice in your workbook?
I have always been a person who's just been me, regardless of where I am. You're going to get Tomecca.
Yeah.
In my truest form. Even with teaching, my students are like, you say some of the funniest stuff. I was like, but I'm serious, though. Like, I meant what I said. It just comes out in a funny way. And when I write that way because I want it to feel more conversational than anything, and I want it to be more relatable. We're around the same age. I'm 44. Life is just different, and I look at life differently. I didn't want to be a person that had the money, but I was bankrupt in every other area of my life because that's what I focused on. And so that's why I take more of, I want to be fulfilled. I don't want to go to work just to be at work. I want to do something fulfilling. I want to know that teaching is not the thing that I want to do long term. I've done it for 10 years, and it's just time for me to move, to start shifting out of that space. But I still love teaching. But it can look different for me to the point where I can still do it, but do it in my own way.
Exactly.
Like I can map that out to look however it is I want to look.
Yeah, I agree. Because I think personally, in talking with you and in reading your workbook, that you would be really good at it, teaching in your way, in that conversational type way, because it is relatable. Your workbook was very relatable, and it was easy to digest. You know what I mean? Like, it was easy to, it had a good flow. It had a really even flow to it. And the way, and I loved also the little quotes that you had, because I'm one of those people too. Like, I love quotes. And I really appreciated that. I was like, okay. I wanted to ask you though, have you thought about doing a journal, a guided journal?
A full journal?
Yes.
I have. I have so many ideas flowing. I need to narrow it down, which is why I do the book myself. I have done it. I did it a couple of years ago, and as I accomplished things, I needed some more space. So I ordered a book and did it myself. And I just want to map out things that, to us at this stage in our lives, like, things are different. If we're getting married in our 40s, that looks completely different than getting married in your 20s. We're more settled now.
Yep.
Careers, assets, that just look different. And we're also looking for different things. Like, what does that look like for me now?
Exactly. And
there's a space in the book for that too.
It is.
Mhm.
Oh, I need that. I need that space too. But yeah, I was reading it. Okay. Oh yeah, the vision port. Yeah. I need to go back and reread that one.
That's the part
that
where,
section.
And it's broken down by areas of our lives so that we don't get stuck and leave something out. Our health is just as important as finances, and it's just as important as our careers and our relationships and relationships with our families. We have to stop speaking that negativity over ourselves. It's just time to grow and be us in our truest form.
It is. And that, the vision part, okay, I skipped over that because I was too like, okay. I read it. Let me not say that. I read it, but I didn't write everything down when it came to that, because I needed help. I needed to think about it. You know, it's not something that, I'm be honest with you, the things that you have in there are not things that you can just quickly write down something. You have to you're forcing a person to be authentic, and you're forcing them to think deeper than just the surface of how we usually think about things. Because when you go and talk about health, what does that really mean? Oh, well, I want to lose 15 pounds. Okay, how are you going to do that? When you talk about family and mending those fences, because you put that, is there someone that you need to apologize to? Okay, well, if it is, then you need to be able to articulate that and also be true with yourself in saying, oh, hey, I need to apologize. And, well, how am I going to do that? What do I need to apologize for? Well, I said X, Y, and Z. You know what I mean? So it's not something that you can just go through here and just, I mean, if you're trying to do it and doing it and mean it and really, as the title say, design your life, not something that you can just write down the first thing that comes to mind and then skip forward and keep on going. No, it's things that you need to actually sit down, contemplate, think about, and then come back and then think a little bit more. It's really making you look inside yourself, and I can appreciate that. Because living an authentic life, I don't think I haven't been diagnosed, and you have to stop doing that to yourself. But I think sometimes that I have symptoms of imposter syndrome. And so being my authentic, true self and not hiding behind the mask, I'm still I'm still working on, because I have. And I have lived behind the mask for a long time. And just to stop that all of a sudden, it's not easy. And it definitely takes work. It like I mentioned to you the other day when you asked me had I read it. And I was like, yeah, I'm reading through it, but I also think that I really think that this book, your workbook, would be very beneficial in a counseling type of way, especially when it comes to Black women and they're getting counseling in white spaces. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it gives that white counselor, I'm not going to say a roadmap, but it gives them something that they could possibly recommend or pass on to their Black clients to help them take off that mask. Because it's hard to, when you are in a counseling situation and your counselor is white and you're talking about taking off the strong Black woman, and she doesn't get it because she's white. And in my counseling experience in the last 2 years or so, I've ran into that. And though the counselor I am with is, she doesn't quite understand, but she's willing to hear and listen. I think it would be really beneficial to someone like her that come in contact with other clients like me, and to have them to work on to do your workbook or recommend it. I'm gonna talk to my counselor about it. I hope you don't mind.
I don't mind. I started going to therapy when I was 14 years old. And that's probably one of the best things that my parents did for me, and being open to it, because some of us, you just pray it away, but you can pray and get help. And I had a white male therapist, and I grew out of that space like in my 20s because I realized what I was going through. He didn't understand, because he was almost equivalent to the people that I was working with. I was the only Black person on the floor of the bank that I was working on. I worked in the loan department, so there was nobody Black up there but me. And there was one Black board member that I saw every now and then, and he was just the sweetest person ever. But it was almost like talking to one of them, like being at work. It was only so far he was able to go. So I had to graduate out of that space into another. He was amazing. I saw him for years, but as I got older, I just needed something different.
Yeah, I can understand that. I too have have had to do that with my counselor. I've had to go elsewhere. But she's still a resource that I can come back to when I need it, especially in the field of cancer. But yeah, I get it. It does make a difference, and it makes and also the age of the person that you're talking to, your counselor, your therapist, that makes a difference. Because my counselor, she's in her 80s, and so I don't always feel comfortable being me when I talk to her, because me curses, and I don't want to curse in front of me, Mom. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you. I get it.
You know, I feel like I'm being disrespectful by saying those dirty words in front of me, Ma. But sometimes an F-bomb is necessary. And I have, she's like, she says, well, I want you to say what you need to say. And if you need to say that, then say it. It's okay. I'm not offended. Don't think so. Now, when I say it, I say, Denise, go ahead. So that makes it a little bit better. But yeah, you definitely have to get. I've had another counselor that was my age, a little bit younger than me. But yeah, it does make a difference. But I'm still going to introduce this workbook to her and suggest that she suggests to some of her, clients like myself, Black, that they get it and that they work through it, and it being a way of a discussion that they have between the two of them, so that it can be a little bit more relatable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can get that.
Yeah, because I think I like her, and I think that it's important because the times are changing, and in that, people, what they need and how they get it changes as well, and I think that it would be very beneficial. So, but yeah, I think that if you thought about doing this as a gratitude journal, I would do it as a journal because I can see.
I thought about expanding it later.
Okay. I can see that because especially at the end where you have the daily, and that's what they call them in the planner world. They call them dailies. Oh, I'm learning. Oh, wow. I call my best friend the planner evangelist. But they call them dailies where you can write down for that day. And I think that it would be really good if you even expanded it to, you can go all kind of places with it, Tomecca. Like, you could go into journals, and if you get, like, with the pictures, because journals, they love the stickers and being able to put stickers places and saying, oh, well, I've done this goal and had a check, and yeah, you could go all kind of places. You could even make them dailies, and you can have them put into a planner, and you could work it that way. Look at me.
Right. You sat here and mapped out a whole product.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think that honestly, it would fit and pocket. And I'm gonna tell you another thing. Excuse me, not tell you, but suggest. Pocket size. Make it pocket size because you can put it in your purse and you can work on it during the day or whenever you get free time, or if you want to, like if you were to do it in a journal, you can have the the guided, you know how you have in the workbook the guided prompt, like family and the visions and the vision, kind of like a vision board is what I call it.
Mm-hmm.
You can have that and then have just empty sheets of paper so that during the day or whenever a person can just, today I thought about my plan, my health, and I got bad news. My blood pressure is high, so I'm going to have to you can just write your thoughts, but it's right over there on the back page. You still have your vision. You can look at it, and then you have your blank pages.
I use the ebook. I'm a print girl, so I have the print version. But I like the ebook version as well because I printed out the pages that you write on, and I wrote on them, and I put them on my vision board and put the pictures around that section so that my pictures really relate to what I said that I wanted. Because I used to be one of those people that my vision board used to be so random. Like in the middle of the year, I didn't remember what it meant. Like, why did I put that picture there? Or you have like pictures of words and stuff, and you were like, what was I thinking? At that very moment, I put that word on there. So I printed out the pages and wrote on them, and I went to Walmart and got a board, and I just put the pages on the vision board, and I put my pictures around that section.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Pinterest has some amazing pictures.
They do. And there are some amazing stickers that you can get, especially like the pictures that you made, that you have on the workbook. They have stickers like that now, like Black women doing things, and that would be wonderful to do. The one that keeps popping into mind is the shop that keeps coming to mind, and I know the Riri is gonna get me. She's gonna be like, "Why you didn't tell me? Oh, I would have done it." But Shop by Keisha, and I know there's quite a few others, but I did print the pages out because at first I was just like, I'm gonna write on my notebook all this, and then I thought, so I print the whole workbook out, and I stapled it together, and I've been doing it that way, and it worked out really well that way too, because I was able to hold it, because I'm one of those people. I like to hold my book. And I was able to flip the page back and look at it. And I added a couple. That's why I added a couple of sheets of paper, because I was like, I need some extra room. And I know you said that too. So, but I eventually need to get into what the sections of the workbook is really about and what they consist of. So the first set is broken down into, how many sections is it? 4?
5.
Oh, it's 5. Well, did I skip something?
You might be looking at the bottom because the plan and the work, they kind of go together, but they're in separate sections.
Oh.
So that's probably what
right.
threw you off.
Yeah.
But it's 5 separate sections.
The plan. Okay. Yeah, okay. I see it now. It is 5 separate. Okay. You're right, I did. Because I thought plan and work were together. You're absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Okay. My bad. I'm sorry. So the first section is basically, I don't want to tell everybody everything about it because I want y'all to go out and buy it. But it's basically the plan, right? Would you say?
In the first section?
Yeah.
The first section takes you through getting rid of the negative.
Okay, that's
because
how
we
you.
have
Okay.
a very bad habit of holding on to things, but the more we hold on to something, we don't leave enough space for the things that we really desire to have. Our lives are so filled with just so many things that we don't want.
Yeah.
And it just takes you through
So
just
the first
saying bye to it. If you need to say bye to procrastination or whatever it is that you need to get rid of, you can get rid of it.
Okay. So I'm going to write that on my little page. Saying bye to
and
the
it takes a while to get through. This is not something that I want people to get and feel like you have to do it in 24 hours. It took me a couple of weeks to get through it because I pray and meditate first so that I am very clear that I'm speaking for me and not in a space where what do people expect of me, because I've lived that life for so long. From a professional perspective, you get full-fledged Tomecca. I can be myself in that space all day long. But from a personal perspective, I feel like I've had to walk the fine line. I'm the oldest on both sides of my family. So you're the one who typically has to set the tone. You can't be the one to mess up. Academically, I have always excelled, so people expect for you to, well, why don't you do this? Or, well, why don't you do that? Because I don't like it. But then you feel like you're stuck in that space. Like my professorship, I've done teaching for 10 years, and it might be something that I continue to do here and there, but I don't want to do it all the time. And then you hear, well, why don't you want to do it anymore? And people just don't get it. Like, who said that I had to do it forever? Like, I just don't want to do it. It's no long, drawn-out explanation. It's just you move past that moment. But then you almost feel guilty of being the person that can excel in certain spaces and then not wanting to do it. You know, it's like the family member that everybody put pressure on to, like, be a doctor or a lawyer. And they just aren't interested, but they try to push themselves through anyway. For the sake of everybody else. Kind of how it feels at times.
It does. I've had that feeling. I was gonna do nursing, but I don't want to be a nurse. I don't have anything against nursing, but I don't want to be a nurse. But my grandmother was, you should go into nursing. You should go into nursing. You'll always need a job. You'll always need a job if you're a nurse. And so I tried to go into nursing, but it never really stuck with me. So I get it, yeah, because I'm the oldest in my family, and you don't want you have expectations, and you don't want to disappoint people, especially your parents and your grandparents. But you have to live for yourself. You have to live
Right.
that life for yourself and do what makes you happy.
Right. And I stopped just giving full explanations of stuff. Like, if I don't want to do something, I just don't want to do it. Like, it doesn't involve a dissertation. Like, we don't have to sit here and have a news conference. I don't want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Exactly.
Like, I have mapped that out at home, and it just does not make practical sense for me anymore. And that's why I had to be honest with myself about what I wanted and what I wanted my life to look like. And I didn't want to be 80, looking back, saying, well, I should have went to Mexico.
Yep. Kind of having some of those. Yeah. Exactly. Because the worst thing to do is to look back over your life and have regret. I feel like I regret not doing. I should have went to Vegas when I had the chance. I should have took that trip. That's the worst thing to do, to look back and do that and second guess yourself and not give yourself. For me, my biggest regret that I'm having and that I'm fighting through is the fear of failing. So you have the fear of failing, so then you don't do anything. And you don't put yourself out there. And that's the worst thing to do to yourself. So I'm definitely guilty of that. I don't know why, but I'm definitely guilty of that. So that is something that I'm working on. And I like the point that you just made, that this isn't, again, it goes back to what I said, like, you have to take time. This isn't something that you're going to do in 24 hours. And I kind of went through it because I knew that I was going to be on, I was going to have you on the show. But it's really something that I'm going to work at and work through for however long that it takes me until I can actually visualize myself doing these things and setting a plan and working that plan. Because, again, I have never done that. I wrote things down, but I've never really went all the way through to the very end with my planning, my goals and things of what I want the rest of my life to be. Because you can't go back. The only thing you can do now is just go forward and keep going forward.
Right. And you said that you had like a fear of failure. I don't. I really don't have a fear of failure. I just feel like that just comes with the territory. I have a fear of success. I'm scared that I'm going to do something and it's going to thrust me into the spotlight and I'm going to end up being a one-hit wonder. Because you don't know, you never know, like, when you're going to do something and it thrusts you into the spotlight and then you almost go numb, like, what do I do now?
Yeah.
I'm scared of that. I don't have a fear of failure at all.
I do.
Because I just feel like it's just part of the process. Everything isn't going to work out. But what do you do when that one thing works out? And then it puts, like, so much pressure on you to do it again. Like, what if I can't do it again? Mm-hmm. I have more fear of that.
Mm-hmm. I think I have both, Tomecca. I really do. I think that I have this self-limiting ideal of myself. I don't see the greatness in me that everyone else does. Everyone else seems to think that I am so great and that I'm so great at doing anything that I put my mind to. And I don't feel that way. I really don't. And I don't know why. I don't know where that came from. But if I'm really honest, I think I'm fearful of succeeding and failing. So either way, it leaves me inactive. It leaves me stuck. It leaves me not giving my all. Because if I don't give my all, then I think it really comes down to a point of where I'm protecting myself from getting hurt. That's what I'm really doing. Mhm. Yeah. I'm
people
just
look at me like I have like such
protected.
an outgoing personality.
Yeah.
And that I can talk to people and just be in a room. People forget that that was my job. I was like, I had to be that way for work. If you're going to succeed in an environment like banking and financial counseling, like where you're going to be in front of people, you have to be on. So I know how to be on when I need to be on. I was like, that was work. I mean, I have just like a natural personality where I can get along and talk to people, but I'm trained in doing that. That's all I've done for 23 years. So it's natural for me to just be sick as I don't know what and not feel like being bothered and walk into a room and showtime.
And I attribute that to, I know how to do that as well, but I also know how to do, I've learned how to do it from wearing a mask. Like, I learned how to do it from when I was in school. I graduated with an associate in human services, and in that we learned interviewing skills. And I do use some of my interpersonal interviewing skills when I deal with people, but I also wear a mask. And with my mask, it doesn't crack. It didn't crack. It showed all the pretty, the well put together, the well spoken, the joyful, the laughing. But on the inside, it's not always pretty. And so when people often see the not so pretty side of me, they are like, where the hell that come from? When they see the angry or the ugly, and they often wonder, it's like, whoa, wait a minute, because they didn't think it was there, or they didn't see it. But that's my mask. That's what my mask does. It gives you that pretty picture.
I've always been about experiences. And if someone is in my presence, especially if they've come to an event or if you were coming to the bank for something, regardless, my job was to give you a good experience. If I'm doing a workshop, I want you to have a good experience. When you leave, I want to be like, you know what? I learned something, but I also had fun. It was just a real chill environment.
Exactly.
Because I don't like stuffy spaces. I mean, I've had to work in stuffy spaces, but I like to, say a little word or two, or to use the verbiage that I would typically use just in my personal space. So that's how I do.
I get that. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, and that's what my podcast is. Because when you talk about, I look at it and I try to use my podcast as a, how would you feel if you were inside of my home? I'm going to be the best hostess that you've ever had. And you're going to think, oh, wow, I really enjoy being around Shalonda. Like, I really enjoy that. Because people know me, I like that. It's so warm and cozy. And I love people to feel that way when they come to my house. And so I try to run my podcast the same way. And so when you said that when you're in the banking and you're in banking and you were on, I used to be on. But this isn't this go around, because this is my second time doing my podcast. The first time I started in 2012, and I was younger. But this one feels like me. This feels like the genuine, authentic me. And sometimes I'm not pretty. But I used to run my podcast like that. I used to be on. Like as soon as the lady says your music is gonna start at 5, 4, and by the time I'm ready, boom, showtime. Let's go. Let's run it. But it had to be perfect. Like I had to sound perfect. It had to run perfectly. Now it doesn't. And I love that fact. I love that feeling that this is genuinely me and that I'm giving people the opportunity to actually get to see and know me. And I'm getting to know me. So, yeah, I get what you're saying. I definitely get what you're saying. You have to, it's, you have to make some breakthroughs. And I really think going back to your workbook will do that for me if I work it. Because I really like it. I mean, I could, I know how to get on here and bullshit you, and I could do that and make you feel like you were on top of the world, but I'm not. This is genuine. Like, I like it. I really like it. And I
appreciate that.
Took the time. I did. I really took the time to read it. And I'm going to read it again. And because I'm in that place in my life now where this matters. And what I put out there and what I want for me matters. So, yeah. I appreciate you answering that welcome post in Black Pearls.
You know what? The craziest thing, I wrote down in that workbook that I wanted to start doing podcast interviews that would lead to me start doing my own show. Not even 2 days later, a friend of mine sent me a screenshot of the group. She said, join this group. I think you'll really like it. I joined. The next day, you did a welcome post. And I told you, I said, I normally don't respond to them. I'll like it, but I just don't normally respond. And I responded, chatting back and forth, and here I am.
And here we are.
And look at how fast it happened from when I wrote it down.
Exactly.
I just wrote it down, and I was like, this is just what I want to do.
Yeah. and you would be great at it. And I hope that you can learn something from me, and I hope that I can teach you some things, because I really feel like you would be really good at this. It would be beneficial to people to hear what you have to say. I really believe that, because you are a genuine person, and I don't feel that it's something that you're putting on, or this is who you are. And I felt that in reading your workbook, that this is who you really are. And I like that. And I like that about you. Like, there is nothing else. Like, this is who you really are. And I think people will appreciate that, because I think people are looking for real and genuine people to get something from. And the things that you're talking about in your workbook and your holistic wealth, especially for us as Black women, is so daggone important. It's so important. In a world now where the cost of things is just ridiculous, we need more financial, especially Black women. I think that we need, Black people in general, but especially us as women, because we are the glue. We are what, if a man eats well and is taken care of well, that's because of the 9 times out of 10, the woman that's in his life. So we are the head of the family. Everything that happens, it comes before us as women, especially when we are in that role. And so it's really important that we are well all around, and hold, so that we can do this as women and hold the family and lead our families. Because the world is crazy, and we gotta get tough. We gotta get strong. And with that, I think knowledge and being holistically whole as people, as women, is going to move us forward and where we need to go in healing some trauma. I think that we all need to heal in a lot of places in our lives. And I feel like whatever it is that you're going to add to this workbook, I think that it will be really well received. It really will. It will by me. I'll put it that way.
I know for me, the reason why I approach topics the way that I do is because when you work in that space, you see people all the time that get into situations because of knowledge gaps, but conversations about like budgeting and credit just don't always solve that. Like for me, I shared with you the other day, like when I was in my 20s, I didn't know you could negotiate your salary. I thought once they offered you the job, whatever annual salary that they gave you, that was it. You just accept it and move on. I didn't know how to negotiate my salary. I learned it from talking to people, but had I not had a conversation with someone about that, I just would have thought that was the way to go. You apply for a job. If you get it, they'll tell you what your salary and your benefits package is going to look like, and you just roll with it. I never knew that you could negotiate your salary or negotiate benefits, like more vacation time.
Exactly. And it's not so much in people. There are people that don't know, but then there are people that know about it, and they need the confidence in knowing how to do it. Because it's one thing to know, but then I don't know how to do that. What do I say? How do I broach that subject? How do I talk to someone about that? And how do you talk to someone about that? Tomecca?
I was around 24 or 25, like when I had that conversation with someone, but I had the conversation with the president of the bank, who was a white male. And we just happened to be talking one day, and we got to talking about salary. And he told me about, like, negotiating salaries and what it looked like on the back end. And I eventually majored in HR for my master's, and I used to teach compensation and benefits, and I learned more of how it's structured on the back end. But just the average person, I didn't know that you could do that. I didn't know that was a thing. So think about, I was lucky enough to have that conversation in my 20s, but look at how much money we've left on the table for people who don't get into that space until their 30s or even their 40s.
Or at all. Because there are still,
and sometimes you'll be scared to ask.
Yeah. Yep. Well, I think a lot of it is that people, one, they don't know to ask, and then the second one is they don't know how to ask. They don't know how to broach that conversation because they feel like, what if I lose my job? What if because I'm asking for more money, that they fire me? So they just take whatever they're given. And then there are some people that just, they don't want to buck the system. So they're just gonna work, and then they're gonna retire soon if they can, and leave it at that.
We grew up, like now they have so much access to everything. When we were growing up, we couldn't use the internet and the phone at the same time.
Nope.
We had dial-up. We had to actually go to the library and look up the books and do our research. Like, we have just so much, but we still are learning and growing.
Yeah.
I didn't know, like, as far as retirement was concerned, I was fed into the graduate high school, go to college, get you a good job, stay there, and retire. I didn't necessarily know that retirement didn't have to come when you got older. If you were financially able to retire and just chill and do whatever, you could do that at any time.
Absolutely. Or retire and start a whole nother career and a whole nother section that you weren't even thinking about doing. Because I watched a video the other day where this man was he was in real estate, investment real estate, and he retired, and now he's making money hand over fist doing YouTube videos, and now he has a Patreon.
Or even structuring your businesses. I watched people in banking that had real estate, but their whole family was involved. Like, several of them owned properties. The nephew did the lawn care because he owned a lawn care business. And then there was somebody else in the family that did the maintenance and repair. So they kept all of their money within their family in different ways. So the money that they took in, they weren't necessarily paying someone on the outside to take care of stuff, like somebody in their family took care of it. Like, I didn't have to take care of the lawn care, but I knew that, like, her nephew had a lawn care business, and he did the lawn care. Mm-hmm. So that check didn't go to somebody on the outside. It went to a family member.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Just imagine if we as family could work together and do that. How much income and how much financial wealth we could have if we learn how to work together.
That particular family, that woman's ex-husband was still doing stuff with that family. I said, the ex-husband too?
Wow.
They played no games, none. All that money circulated within their family.
Wow. The ex-husband was still making money too. Wow.
The ex-husband.
Yeah. We may not can get along as husband and wife, but we can make this money together.
They were just as chummy as they could be.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Because money can do, money can do that.
But those are things that I probably would have never just taken into consideration or looked at like that had I not looked at people's financials for a living. And on the commercial lending side, we didn't see as many people, so we got to know them very well. And they'll share any information with you if you just ask, like, because we would have deep conversations with them all the time. And I was like, wow, I would have never thought to do that way.
Mm-hmm. There are a lot of people that are willing to share their knowledge in those spaces. Everyone is not the same, and you can't categorize everybody the same. But yeah, there are people that are willing to share. I've met a couple. I've met a few people that have given me, not personally, but in watching their content, they have given me ideas and of how to make podcasts, make money, and to make it work for you, So I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm definitely, you definitely have to be willing to learn and sometimes look outside of the box to get what you want. But the main thing is implementing it, making it work, doing it, making it do what it do for you. That's the biggest thing. So, what else? Let me see. Where can people find? I think I put your link tree. Yeah, I did. I put your link tree. So that's where people can go and find your workbook, right?
Uh-huh. And I am on TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. All of my pages have the same handle. It's Dr. Tomecca. That's Tomecca. And you can follow me there, and the links are all in my bio.
Yeah,
and
if I just said
Dr. Tomecca, they would. If I just said Dr. Tomecca, they never would have found that because my name is spelled all kind of weird.
No, no, they wouldn't have found it. And you can also get the ebook under her link tree. And if you're looking for a link tree, it's Dr. Tomecca as well, isn't it?
Yes.
I wrote it down. Yeah. her link tree is Dr. Tomecca as well. And go under her link tree, and you can find, you can get the book, the workbook print from Amazon, and then you can order the ebook from your personal website, correct?
It's a link that'll take you directly to the form to fill it out, and you get instant access right then.
Okay. So what else is coming up for Dr. Tomecca? What else are you doing?
Right now, I'm building my social media presence bigger. I've always done, things behind the scenes. So I'm building my social media pages, so follow me there. And then I am working on my first book that'll be coming in the next couple of months. It is finance related, though.
Okay.
That particular project.
Okay. Well, you have to come back and let us know. We can read it and talk about it. You said you're on TikTok as well?
Yes.
TikTok. Yeah, I need to get TikTok. I'm not on TikTok. Everybody. Yeah. I'm trying to work my media. I am too.
I was a lurker for a long time. I'm starting to post videos probably towards the end of next week. I have to edit them and get them posted. But, yeah, I like TikTok. It's short, sweet, to the point. People move on. It's cute.
It is. I have an account on TikTok, but I don't do any like you. I'm a lurker. I just be looking at stuff. I try not to get on there so much, but I am now obsessed with Instagram because I can find so much and so many different people and have so many different conversations on Instagram. It's just weird. But I am, and I'm on Threads, but I haven't figured out how to work Threads yet. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I can't post anything. I'm like, what is this? I don't know what I'm doing. If anybody wants to help me with Threads, please look me up on either Threads on the Night Talks with Sasha or Instagram because I'm lost in the woods. I don't know what I'm doing.
I didn't do Threads, and I didn't like Clubhouse. I like Clubhouse like when we didn't have anything to do, like during COVID, and it kept you just kind of entertained then, but I haven't looked on it since.
Yeah, you don't really hear anything about Clubhouse because when it first dropped, it was like, boom, everybody wanted in. But, yeah, you don't hear a lot about it anymore. Yeah.
We were stuck in the house during that time, so, we were occupying being on Clubhouse, on Instagram at night, listening to the DJs.
And the verses and all that. Yeah, absolutely. We were. Now it was one that supposedly came out or was gonna come out. It was done by some people that used to work at X, because it's no longer called Twitter, it's called X. But I don't know what happened to that platform, if it's still out there. But I think Instagram is, there were some people on Instagram the other day saying that Instagram is going to be taken over by the young people because all the older people are going to TikTok. And I'm like, you crazy. There is a healthy mix of both. So I don't know, but I just lurk on TikTok. I'm trying to come off behind the behind the scenes as well, but it's not working too good. So But is there anything else you want to share with us? I miss Ebook Club. It's okay. It's all right. That you want to share with us about you and what you. I know you said you got a book coming up in a couple of months in finances, and you told us where we can find you all over. Is there anything else?
Nothing, just to come hang out, get you a workbook so that we can all live our best lives together. I'm all for it. I just want people to just do what they want to do. I'm here for it.
Exactly. Yes, definitely get y'all a workbook because it's really good. It's a really good and it's a really entertaining workbook. It's not just something to have you doing. It's really going to make you think. And definitely get one. Because, yeah, design your life, your best life. It's time. Okay, so I need to make a little announcement. Now, I know that you all have noticed the difference, but yes, as of right now, there are no longer the co-hosts on Night Talks with Sasha. I am restructuring the show, and I'm also taking some time off for myself. I want to work things and make them work for me. But no, for those that may have been curious or wanted to know why Beauty and Swing were no longer on the show, they're no longer on Night Talks with Sasha. It's just me. So I'm going to take October off and work on how I want this show to be, what I want this show to be, and how I'm going to go forward. I thought that I needed someone to help me to do this show, but I've come to realize that I don't. And it's nothing against them. They're both wonderful people, and I thank them for the 7 months that we spent together. It was good. I think that if we had I think we could have went on and did something great, but that's nor here nor there. Hopefully we can get to a point where Beauty and Swing both can come on and say their final goodbyes or whatever they would like to say to you all, the listening audience. But as of right now, it is just me, Sasha. And it's probably going to be just me, Sasha, that's going to be hosting Night Talks with Sasha. I can't fill Michael's place. I wasn't trying to. It just wasn't, it just didn't work how we wanted it to. And so the best thing for us to do is try to part ways and still keep our friendship. And I hope that we can do that. Beauty Swing, I love you both for loving me as you both did and doing what you thought was right and watching out for me. And I appreciate the time and the effort that you both put into this show. It wouldn't have been half of what it was without the two of you. Maybe one day we can come back together and make it work. But right now, Shalonda needs to do this for Shalonda. And things that I need to do. There's a legacy that I want to leave behind. And there's a voice in some people that I want to touch. And I thought that I could do that with y'all, but I think that I need to do this on my own. I love you both, and I hope that we can one day be what we were. And if you ever want to talk to me or call me, I'm always here. If you need me, I'm always here. Because no matter what, I love you both equally. Beauty, I'm sorry. It had nothing to do with you. And I'm sorry that our friendship has ended because of it. Maybe one day we can be the friends that we were, and maybe we can know each other the way that we want to. Same with you, Swing. When you want to do your show and you want to work it and do it for you and get your show out there, come talk to me. I got you. I'll help you do whatever you need to do. But y'all, I just got to do this for me. This is about me. And yeah. So I'll be back in November. I might be back a little bit sooner. It just depends on when and how I get things done and what I want to get done. But yeah, I need some time to mourn, and I'm not gonna do that over the air. So bear with me, and go back and listen to some of the other shows, and just know that it's gonna be okay. Everything's fine, and I'll be back. And that's all. So thank you again for listening to Sasha's Book Corner. I want to give a special thank you to my guest, Dr. Tomecca Williams. Thank you, Tomecca, for coming on my last show.
You're welcome.
I really appreciate it. I really enjoy it. I hope we can talk to each other. Don't be a stranger. I won't either. Okay, great. But thank you all again for listening to Sasha's Book Corner, where books and tea meet. I have been your girl, your diva, your hostess, Sasha. And I want to thank you all for listening. Stay safe. Have a great week. And be good to each other. And be good to yourself. All right. Thank you.